Hello, everyone. It's Chris with Expat Theory. Happy Friday. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Appreciate you being here. I just wanted to take a minute to talk about CRST today. I've seen a lot of negative stuff out there, and of course, I'm going through this whole transition where the contract I was working on got terminated, and I'm moving to a different position, but still staying with CRST. And I kind of feel like I need to say something. Let's talk really real about CRST and what my experience has been. I've seen some YouTube videos out there. A lot of them are older, 6 months or more. Some are years, and a lot of people are really bashing CRST. And a big thing is about their contract system. When I started back in 2020, the contract was set up to where they paid for everything. They sent you to truck driving school. While I was in school, they were giving me money for food and stuff. They gave me, room and board, the whole bit. I didn't need anything. I showed up with clothes and toiletries and was good to go. They paid for everything. I went through the school, got on the road with a real trainer, went out on the road after that with my co-driver, and the contract was for 10 months. So if I drove for them for 10 months, all of my schooling and everything else was paid off. They didn't take no money out of my check or anything like that. It was the deal. I guess the wording of that contract didn't sit well. Some of the people who were fired, they weren't meeting the standards or wanted to cheat CRST by not fulfilling their part of the bargain and jumping over to other companies. And of course, CRST was trying to recover their money. And I'll be honest, they were trying to make life difficult for people who walked out on their contract. But they got sued. They changed the contract. It's not like they had to pay out any money, really. I guess they paid out some for some people that incurred losses. But they reworded their contract and redid it. I can't speak about how things are right now, what the contract system is, because it's all changed in 2.5 years. I do know that I was speaking with another CRC driver who's got a little bit less than a year in, and apparently they're taking money out of her check to pay off the schooling. I think she's pretty much close. I think she's paid off now or close to it. But when I came in, that didn't happen. They didn't take anything out of my check. So I guess they had to alter the structure. But the point is, you've got all these people that sign the dotted line and sign a contract and make a commitment and an obligation to get a benefit from the company. The company's willing to take you in off the street, put you through the truck driving school, and then put you out on the road where you can make good money. And a lot of people are basically burning them. And if they get fired or they don't make it through the whole process or whatever, or they don't feel like they're making enough money and they want to jump over to another company and all this other stuff, they're coming back and blaming CRST for it. And making it sound like CRST is just horrible. They're terrible. So, in my experience, like I was saying, they hired me off the street. They sent me to truck driving school. They gave me money while I was in school. I hadn't even been hired by the company yet. But they gave me cash money so that I could buy food and things. They gave me a roof over my head and a bed to sleep in, a place to study. I went in, did my job, worked hard, studied hard, paid attention when I was in class and in school, learned how to drive the truck, got the knowledge I needed to go and take my test and pass the test. I got on the trucks and went with a evaluator who passed me for my CDL. I got back to North Carolina, took that in, got my hard copy, hit the road, never look back. I've been with CRST for 2.5 years. I've made decent money, a lot more money than I ever would have made working for for CVS. They've treated me respectfully. There's been some times when I've had some issues. Um, I've had issues with trucking in general. I've had issues with mechanical with my truck. But these are all things that every trucking company in the industry face. So it doesn't matter what company you're with, there's going to be some issues. And it's just like any other job. You go to the job, there's going to be things that you don't like. There's going to be problems. It's work. If it wasn't work, it'd be called fun. But it's not. It's called work for a reason. But there's always problems and issues that you have to deal with. So you find a place that you can work and be happy and tolerate the problems. And if you can't tolerate the problems you're dealing with at that job, then you got to go get a different job. One that has problems and issues that don't bother you so much and that you can tolerate. So CRST is really no different than any other company out there. I've got a little bit of a lemon of a truck right now. I'll straight up tell you, it's been in and out of the shop since March, with issue after issue after issue. And every time I take it to the shop, I come back with an issue that I didn't have before. So they don't do a very good job of fixing. Is that specifically CRST's fault? Not really. Their shops suck, but so does Freightliner. Freightliner sucks. So, if it isn't my shop screwing my truck up in the process of fixing it, then it's Freightliner screwing it up and giving it back to me with issues and problems that I didn't have before. So, it's not exactly their problem or their fault. They're doing the best that they can, and getting good mechanics in the industry is really difficult. They're like most industries right now in trades. There's a lot of people not going into the trades and really putting forth the effort to work hard and learn what they need to learn and become good at their job. That's every industry right now. So I don't really hold them 100% accountable for that. Yeah, they catch some of it, but not all of it. And while I'm down, not being able to drive, CRST's paying me. They're paying me downtime. Is it my normal pay? No, absolutely not. It's about 1/3 of my normal pay. But they are paying me. So I don't end up with a zero check because my truck's broke down. That doesn't happen. So I do feel like they are trying, and they are taking care of me. I've been treated with respect. I haven't been disrespected and all that. Sometimes I don't get the amount of attention from my managers that I feel is sufficient. And I will say that. I think that the driver manager job has gotten a little overloaded. They give too many drivers to one manager, so that one manager's got all kinds of corporate crap to deal with, red tape, emails, conference calls, meetings, and all that garbage, and trying to actually connect with and manage their drivers kind of comes secondary. I don't think that's a good thing. Again, no different than any other company. I would like to see driver managers be a lot more in tune with their drivers. And personally, I think at least once a week, they should call and talk to the driver. How you doing? Everything good? Is there anything wrong? Do you have any truck problems? Everything going the way it should? Just touch base and make sure everything's legit. That doesn't happen. Some companies, you won't hear from anybody unless they're just giving you your load information to where to go and pick up stuff. Other times they'll sit around and BS with you for 20, 30 minutes. You know, you'll get to really know the person you're working for. It's a mixed bag, okay? But for 2.5 years, I've been driving for the same company. I'm not leaving yet. We're going to see how this new position pans out. And if it works out fine, then I'll be with CRST for the foreseeable future. I have not felt the need to go elsewhere. There are other companies out there that'll hire me right away. When they announced that they were losing this contract, I checked in two places. First place, boom, right off the bat, offered me more money and more miles. Well, I won't say more miles, but a sufficient number of miles that I would actually make a little bit more money. Second company, slightly higher pay rate, slightly kind of in the miles department, but not bad. Enough to where I could make close to the same money that I'm making. And that was within an hour. So, I mean, yeah, I could jump ship and go to another company right now. You know, I could be in orientation for a new company a week from Monday because I'd take a little time off before I go. But they usually like to do their orientation on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday kind of thing. So, I mean, I could have a new job next week. No problem. But I choose to stay with CRST. Why? Because I've made good money here. I do feel a little bit of loyalty. They brought me in off the street. They gave me a job. They helped me change my life. Yeah, there's a little bit of loyalty there. It only goes so far because, you know, if I can't make the money, sorry, got to go. Love you, mean it. But seriously, I'm not in this for CRST's profitability. I'm in this for my profitability. And right now, they're meeting that need. So a lot of this negativity that's coming out about the company, you need to kind of step back from it and kind of do a bigger picture here. The vast majority of people that are complaining, griping, bitching, and hating did not make it through the system. When I went to truck driving school, we had 51 people in my class. 17 made it through the school. All kinds of various reasons. Drinking, doing drugs, failing the drug test, violence, getting into fights and shit during school. I mean, they couldn't even handle going to school, and they were getting washed out. Some people couldn't pass physical. They had health issues that they needed to get under control. Had a couple of them because of high blood pressure. Can't have high blood pressure out here. So if you've got high blood pressure, you've got to be on medication. You've got to have that under control. You know, things like that. But 17 of the 51 made it through, and this was training for two different companies. So only about 11 of us were actually going to CRST. The others were going to Stevens. So now, the industry has a 96% turnover rate. You know, so let's just round that down to 10 people. Yeah, think about that for a minute. 96% turnover rate. You only had 10 people. That means that basically you're only going to have about 1 or 2 people actually survive their first year in trucking with CRST. So they're spending an ungodly amount of money sending people to school, trying to get them their CDL and get them on the road and keep them. And people bounce on them and default and don't hold up their end of the contract, costing them even more money because they paid for their schooling and everything. These guys got their CDL and they want to walk away and basically stick CRST with the bill. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. But yet they'll turn right around and blame CRST if CRST tries to get their money back or tries to impede them in any way from taking advantage of them. So if another company who's going to hire that driver who just broke the contract with CRST, they call up CRST to verify, and CRST says no, they had a contract with us, and you know they're violating our contract. They get mad because CRST says that, and the other company doesn't want to hire them. I got no problem with that. You walked away on your obligation. You signed a legal binding contract to fulfill your obligation to the company, in return getting training and getting paid to get on the road. And you walked away from it. You broke the deal. So I'm guessing that's coming up with another class action suit because they have been trying to block people. And I get, like I said, I get it. I don't blame my company for doing that. It's a massive loss for them, and it hurts them because they're counting on these drivers to get on the road to move loads. They need to get the job done. They need to have bodies in the trucks doing their job, and these people don't want to do that. So now I think they're in the process where you have to pay it back, and then if you don't pay it back and you leave, you still have a balance. They come after you financially that way. I don't know. I don't know the exact process now because, like I said, I came in completely different. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. The point being is that CRST is a good starter company if you can handle team driving. If you can handle two people being in a small, confined space, basically living together for weeks and or months at a time, it's a great company to start with. And then after you've got your CDL and you've fulfilled your contract, paid back your schooling, if you feel like you can do better or want to do better with someone else, then leave. No problem with that. But for me, a lot of it comes down to personal integrity, not just the legal obligation, but personal integrity. If you make a deal with someone, it's your obligation to fulfill your obligation to that company and your responsibility. You've made a promise to them. They've made a promise to you. Why are you not fulfilling that? Why are you not satisfying your end of the deal? And I have a big issue with that, actually. I kind of have a problem with that. If you can't be the kind of person to be stand-up person and do what is required of you and what you promised to do, and they've given you a benefit in return, yeah, I have very little respect for you as a person. So, and these are the people that jump on YouTube and make all these videos and bash the company and make them sound like they're horrible. They're not. So consider the source on a lot of these. If you're ever interested in getting into it, let me know. Hit me up in the comments or whatever, and I'll try to give you as much information as I can. And I've got friends that are truck drivers that have been doing it longer than me. And believe me, if you ask me a question and I can't answer, I will be picking their brains, and I'll get back to you. So, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. That's the video. Hope you enjoy it. If you know anybody who's interested in this kind of information, in this kind of content, please share it to them, and like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. So, we'll see you in the next video, guys.